going to show you the benefits and harm about chemical reaction of food processing and preservation.
So first, we should know what is food processing and preservation.
Food preservation includes preventing the growth of bacteria, fungi, or other microorganisms, as well as slowing the oxidation of fats that cause rancid, resulting in a longer shelf life and lower risk of eating the food. Food processing is the physical or chemical transformation of raw ingredients into food or food into other forms. Food processing and food preservation must be balanced. Food preservation is the process of preventing or slowing the spoilage, loss of quality, and edibility of food for a longer period of time. It entails preventing bacteria, fungi, and microorganisms from growing.
Are processed foods safe to eat?
Yeah, 'cause they are so yummy.
No. Processed food means the food item has been altered in some way or the other. It may involve washing, peeling, cutting the food item, or pasteurizing, freezing, adding oil, salt, or sugar to increase the product's shelf life. Processed foods include tinned vegetables, yogurt, cheese, etc. Ultra-processed foods are ready-to-eat or ready-to-heat products manufactured industrially using multiple ingredients and additives. Some examples include instant noodles, breakfast cereals, etc. Now, many of these ultra-processed foods are believed to have negative health effects. Why? Firstly, ultra-processed foods are unhealthy for our digestive system as they are low in fiber. Fiber promotes bowel movements, and it is an important food source for beneficial bacteria in our large intestine. Secondly, many of these foods are high in trans fat, which increases the level of bad cholesterol. Thirdly, high amounts of salt, sugar, and chemical additives in these foods may increase the risk of diabetes, obesity, etc. Are frozen foods safe to eat?
Yeah, that's why I eat ice creams.
Oh, dude. In food industry, there are two processes used for freezing, mechanical and cryogenic. In mechanical freezing, chilled air is passed over food items, causing them to slowly cool down and freeze. While in cryogenic or flash freezing, food items are either directly sprayed or immersed in refrigerants like liquid nitrogen or carbon dioxide, thus freezing the food instantly. Frozen foods do have certain advantages. Firstly, nutritional loss is almost negligible. Secondly, while transporting and storing fresh food items, harmful bacteria can grow and contaminate the food. However, this will not happen in case of frozen foods because bacteria don't usually grow in low, freezing temperatures. However, some frozen foods may contain stabilizers and trans fat. It is believed that these additives will either increase the risk or worsen certain pre-existing health conditions. Is overcooked food good for us?
Obviously, burnt toast is my favorite.
Oh, some. Overcooking or charring the food from outside is in trend because it adds a smoky flavor and enhances the taste. However, experts believe that overcooking can have negative health effects. Firstly, the longer you cook, the more nutrient loss occurs. Secondly, overcooked food is hard to digest and metabolize. Thirdly, when we cook starchy food at high temperatures for longer periods, the naturally occurring sugar and amino acids react to form harmful carcinogens like acrylamides. Whereas overcooking of meat causes sugar, amino acids, and a substance called creatine to react, producing carcinogens called heterocyclic amines. Lastly, while grilling, fat from the meat can drip onto the burning coal, leading to the production of carcinogens called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Hence, it is recommended to cook food just until it gets a golden yellow color and not until it turns brown or black. Are canned foods safe?
No, just pizzas are safe.
Oh, some. Canning is basically a method in which food items are processed and then packed in airtight containers. This helps preserve food for longer periods. However, there are some disadvantages of canned foods. Firstly, canned foods can be high in sugar and salt, so they can pose a risk for people with high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, etc. Secondly, most cans have a coating of bisphenol A to prevent corrosion. Studies suggest that bisphenol A can leak into the food and have negative effects on our hormones and reproductive system. Thirdly, the acids present in food can react with the metal can and produce hydrogen gas, creating bulges, thus making food unsafe to eat. Lastly, improper canning process can lead to growth of dangerous bacteria called Clostridium botulinum. It produces a lethal toxin which, if consumed, can paralyze our muscles and cause death if left untreated. Is expired food safe to eat?
No problemo. I'm as strong as Hulk.
Oh, some. Usually we see 3 types of dates on food products: sell by, best by, and use by. Use by is what we call the expiry date. Consuming food past this date may prove to be harmful. Firstly, the nutritional value of the food will reduce. Secondly, as bacteria don't usually grow at low temperatures, many foods are frozen. But if foods are kept at room temperature, bacteria will develop in them. Now, if consumed, they can cause vomiting, diarrhea, food poisoning, etc.
Know what is food processing and preservation, we will go through to the benefits and harm that could do to us. But first, we should know the chemical reaction to this.
Most food constituents such as carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, and trace elements are desirable or at least harmless. Given that the desired properties of most foodstuffs can only be obtained after cooking, baking, roasting, or other processing steps, the majority of our food is processed in this manner prior to consumption. During these processes, complex chemical reactions occur. Some of these can result in the formation of desired coloring or aroma components, while others can produce hazardous substances such as acrylamide due to the enormous complexity of food processing. Elucidating such chemical reactions in food frequently takes several years of research, or it is not addressed at all.
After we know the chemical reaction of food processing and preservation, we can now move on to the benefits and harm it can do to us.
So first, we should discuss the benefits. Food processing enables us to consume a wider range of foods than our forefathers. We can transport foods from all over the world to our homes because we can safely preserve and package them. We are not limited to what is produced locally or seasonally, greatly extending food availability and accessibility for the vast majority of people who live in cities. With more options, we can eat a more varied diet that is more likely to contain all of the nutrients we need for good health.
Now, for the harm it would do to our body. One of the most harmful effects of preservatives on food items is their ability to transform into carcinogen agents. Some of the food items consist of nitrosamines, a preservative which has nitrites and nitrates, which mix with the gastric acids and form cancer-causing agents. To ensure that you avoid eating this preservative, you need to avoid snacks or meals that are loaded with nitrites and nitrates.
And all in all, we could say about food processing and preservation its food's nutrients value is almost always altered by the type of processing it goes through. Water-soluble vitamins are most easily destroyed by processing and cooking. Careful cooking and storage will help your food retain its nutrients. Excessive consumptions of ultra-processed food can cause weight gain in the short term and diet-related disease in the long run.
Furthermore, that concludes the chemical reaction about food processing and preservation. We hope that you learned something